Tokyo Revengers is cracked. We got romance, we got people beating the shit out of each other, we got not one but 2 characters nominated for Crunchyroll's Best Boy, and neither one's the main character. And those 2 characters are who I want to cover today because I love them. They're Draken and Mikey, the vice commander and commander of Tokyo Manji Gang, the drippiest gang in existence. But anyway, let's talk about these best boys, and let's start with Ryoguchi Ken, aka Draken. This dude went to the Mike Tyson school of looking like a grown-ass man at 15. Actually, that's most of Tokyo Revengers. Look at this kid, and this kid, and this kid. Japan, what are you feeding these middle schoolers, man? I mean, look at Draken. You see him walking towards you on the sidewalk, you're gonna cross the street. 6 feet tall, braided ponytail, dragon tattoo on his head. Draken is a scary, scary dude. And that, combined with him being a delinquent and generally being intimidating, you expect him to be kind of a thug. But Draken's not a thug. He's actually the wisest character in the show. Raised in the red light district by a bunch of prostitutes, Draken never knew his dad, and his mother abandoned him when he was 2. Draken was raised by prostitutes and grew up a delinquent. Someone who has no problem skipping school, getting into fights, and the like. He even got a dragon tattoo carved into the side of his head in just 5th grade. But somehow, Draken turned out okay. He respects Takemichi for fighting for his girl, gives Emma a plush for her birthday, and generally is super caring and level-headed, at least compared to the rest of the delinquents. And when Pa goes to prison, Draken goes with Pa's parents to visit him in juvie every single day. Only relatives were allowed to go inside, but Draken brought a gift every single day. Best boy indeed. Draken is compelling because he's a gang member with the wisdom of a sage. Someone who fights like a monster, but also has an incredible perspective on life and friendship, no doubt driven by his own personal hardships. He's loving and caring towards those lucky enough to be his friends and thankful and appreciative of everything he has, especially Mikey. And with that, let's get into our second Best Boy nominee, Manjiro Sano, aka Mikey. Mikey's the boss of Tomen, and supposedly one of the men responsible for Hina's death in the future. Naoto describes Mikey as a world-class criminal, ruthless and brutal, but then we meet him, and he's just a kid. Not just in height, but also in the way he acts. He's pouty, he likes to nap, and he's crazy optimistic. He was introduced as a mob boss, and you expect him to be mean, and sometimes he is, but he's also kind of childish. And with that childishness comes insane optimism and incredible vision. Mikey's goal is to create a new era for delinquents, one where they're not looked down upon but respected. Which is really weird, right? Like, why would you respect people who skip school, get into fights, and detach themselves from society? But Mikey shows us why. When Hina slaps him, he doesn't retaliate at all. Instead, both he and Draken respect Takemichi's conviction to protect Hina, and they take it in stride. And when their friend Pa wants to pick a fight against a group way stronger and bigger than them, Mikey doesn't hesitate. The gang that Pa wants to fight, Mebius, is the worst of the worst, raping and assaulting innocent people, and Pa and Mikey decide to put them in their place. Mikey sticks up for his friend. When you're in Mikey's corner, he'll stick up for you, no matter what. Even when Kazutora kills his brother Shinichiro, Mikey testifies on Kazutora's behalf and ensures he has a lighter sentence. Mikey feels responsible for all his friends, all his subordinates. He wants the best for them, and fights hard for their sakes. And that's what brings me to this scene. Mebius versus Mikey and Draken. And I guess Pa, but let's be real, that Harold from Captain Underpants looking ass didn't do shit. This scene is what separates Mikey and Draken from other delinquents. After Mikey beats their leader, Draken lectures him about the path of the delinquent and how what Mebius did was wrong. There's a difference between Tomen and other gangs, and it's because of Mikey and Draken. Tomen is a gang of delinquents, but they're generally good people, and they fight against the ideology of gangs like Mebius. Of course, anyone could tell bad people that what they're doing is bad. What makes Mikey special is that he has the strength to make people listen. Mikey fights for his gang and says that with him there, Tomen can never lose. Anyone else saying this would be naive, but with Mikey, it's just fact. When Mebius jumps Pa, Mikey, and Draken with like 50 people, Mikey single-handedly brings them to their knees in just one kick. At another point, he one-shots the leader of a gang of older kids when he's in just 5th grade. And when Kazutora is beating Mikey with a pipe while one of his guys is holding his leg and another guy has him in a headlock, Mikey picks that boy up with one leg, uses him to hit the other guy holding him down, and later almost kills Kazutora. Mikey can do anything. And thank God he's so strong, because Takemichi, the main character, isn't. What the hell are you doing, bro? Anyway, we love Mikey because of his strength and charisma. With him, Tomen can never lose. With him, the whole gang will be cared for. With him, there will be a new era for delinquents. Okay, so we've talked about Draken and we've talked about Mikey. Let's talk about their bromance. Mikey and Draken are both the same and radically different. They're similar in how strong they are and how they share similar values. Both of them are gang members, but also incredibly kind and caring towards their friends and subordinates, and to each other. Tomen couldn't be Tomen without either one. But Mikey and Draken are also different. Mikey's a good guy, but he has a dark side. He kills Kazutora in an alternate timeline. He's brutal when beating Kiyomasa. And in the future, he's the boss of a sophisticated criminal enterprise. And that's what brings me to one of the best scenes of the show, the hospital scene. Here, the family of the girl that was attacked yells at Mikey and Draken for showing up at the hospital, screaming that it's the delinquent's fault that she's like this. Mikey is ready to throw hands because it's not their fault. Mikey and Draken are against what happened to the girl and are trying to avenge her. The delinquent thing to do might be to cause a ruckus, or at least protest. Draken doesn't. He forces Mikey to bow his head, saying that they need to solve their problems in their world, the delinquent world. That all of Tomen has family members who they want to protect, and innocent people shouldn't be involved in their mess. Without Draken adding some much-needed perspective, who knows what Mikey would have done here. But thanks to Draken, they do go solve it in their world. But things don't go as planned there either. Mikey brings Mebius to its knees, but Pa stabs their leader for what he did. And when the cops arrive on the scene, he turns himself in. To Mikey, this is unacceptable. Pa is one of his oldest, closest friends, and he refuses to let him go to jail, even voluntarily. But Draken is more pragmatic. He knows that Pa made his choice freely, and that Mikey staying to convince him could land them both in prison. So he carries Mikey away, and Pa goes to jail. Mikey is devastated. He said that with him around, Tomen would never lose, so he can't accept this incredible loss of their 3rd Division captain. Him and Draken get into a fight, and Tomen splits in two, something that in one timeline results in Draken's death. But thankfully, the two reconcile, thanks to Takemichi. Draken is Mikey's moral compass. Mikey is strong and charismatic, but he's in many ways immature. Draken can offer the wisdom and perspective that Mikey lacks, and keep him grounded. That's why it's no surprise that one of the events that led to Tomen going off the rails in the future was Draken's death. Without Draken, Mikey is lost. When Draken is in surgery, Mikey puts on a brave front for his friends. But when he's alone and after Draken is saved, he starts crying, overwhelmed by the idea of losing his best friend. He loves Draken, and Draken loves him back. Draken wakes him up for school, feeds him his favorite foods, and even carries him around when he falls asleep. They go on tandem bike rides together and go to burger joints together. They're inseparable. Draken gives Mikey a moral compass and someone to take care of him, and Mikey gives Draken someone to follow. They need each other. They're the optimist and the realist, the pragmatist and the ideologue, the head of Tomen and his vice commander, the best characters in the show, Mikey and Draken. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing. I make Avatar and anime content twice a week, and I love Tokyo Revengers, so hop in, enjoy the ride. If I see likes and comments on this video, I'll know to keep making Tokyo Revengers videos, so yeah, let me know. That's all for today's video, until next time.